Okay, we are recording this. Okay, so as you can see, I am in my Google Drive right now. And what I'm going to do, because I always tell everybody when you start with Google, just like you drive to work, we always start in Drive. And we're going to go up to New. And if you'd follow along, so that way you're creating your form as well, and we'll all be kind of working together. Okay, so I'm going to click New, and I'm going to click a new Google form. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and share this tab out here. And this is kind of like what the Google form looks like when it first pops up. It's that real pretty purple color. I know everybody just loves purple, right? We'll see, right? Well, we can change the color and all that a little bit later. First thing we want to do, though, is we want to give our Google form a name. We always need to name everything. So up here where it says Untitled Form, I'm going to put My New Quiz. Now here's a really cool little trick. I put it here, but notice it's not up here. Okay, all I do is click on the top there, and now my form is actually named officially My New Quiz. So now I don't have to worry. And if you do have any questions, I can't see you because I'm on the quiz form. So if you do have questions with you, Larry, if you see anybody with their hand up, or anybody, you can always unmute your mic and just shout out a question, because I want to make sure we address everything that's coming in on this. When we do it virtually, it's a little bit different because we can't see everybody all the time. Okay.
I got you, Misha. I got you. If I see anybody, I'll let
you
know.
All right. Thanks so much, Larry. All right. So we named our quiz, and we're going to actually need to make it a quiz, because to get the feedback portion, we need to make it a quiz. So how do I do that? Well, up here, you're going to see that it says questions, responses, and settings. So we're going to click on the settings. Okay. And if we move a little too fast, please let me know. I want to make sure we keep everybody together, because Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind or forgotten, right? One of my most favorite movies in the world. Just so you know. You see right here where it says make this a quiz? We're going to want to turn that on. So I just slide the little toggle switch over to on. And now I've got some other options here. And you have to think about them, what's going to work for you. I know what works for me, but what's going to work for you, okay? So right here it says immediately after each submission, we want to release the grades. So when that student hits submit, they want to be able to see their score. I know I want that, because that's instant feedback. We want to make sure that they're getting that instant feedback. So I always leave that one on, okay? I want to give it to them later, because if I give it to them later, about 100 other things happen in their life, and they're going to forget all about that quiz. So I want to do it immediately. Okay. Locked mode. This is a fairly new feature, but what this will do is it almost puts it in kiosk mode for the students, so they can't escape out of that quiz and look for answers on the internet. It kind of locks them out. Also, you get an email as the teacher who created the quiz that they did exit the quiz. So then that's a red flag to you. Hey, maybe I need to go check on this kid because they got out of the quiz and then they got back into the quiz. So that's a really cool feature. We're not going to turn that on for today because nobody here has a Chromebook and I'm using a Mac. So this isn't going to work for me. This works for only for students that have Chromebooks that are administered in our district. Okay. This doesn't work just on a Mac or PC. Missed questions. If I'm a middle school teacher or a high school teacher, I don't want this on, because what if I'm going to use this quiz for another grade period? Some of us like to do that. If we have multiple periods that have the same type of class, if I'm teaching algebra 2 twice, I don't want to create a brand new quiz for that. I might want to use this quiz again, make a copy of it. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the missed questions. So maybe I don't want kids sharing that information with others. I do want them to know when they've got an answer correct, and I do want them to know what point value it's for. Now, this is really cool, too, that you can default the question point value to 10 points or to whatever. I can put whatever number I want in there. I use 10 because that seems to be the most common, but you can put whatever number you want in there, and that will always default every question to that point value. You can change it at any time. It's not in stone, but it will always default to the 10. So that's like, okay, anytime that I make a quiz question, it'll automatically be 10 points, but I can change it if I want to, okay? All right. Down here is responses. I recommend highly that you collect the email addresses from your students. That way they make sure that they're all the way logged into Google, and that way you've got their email address as well as their name. Okay. So I recommend that highly with anything that you're putting out as a quiz. Okay. You don't want them to edit it, right? Once they answer, that's it. You don't want them to go back and change that. So we want that off. And you don't have to restrict to Isleta if you don't want to. If you've got some kids who might be, who forgot to log into Google, whatever, it will allow them to fill out the form as well. But I do want to limit one response per student. I don't want my kids going in and doing it 4 or 5 different times like they would do that, but that messes with my data, and I don't want that to happen. Okay, so I always turn that one on as well. Everybody seem to be doing okay, Larry? I can't see people. I feel like I'm blind today.
Everybody's good. Everybody's good.
All right.
So
Okay.
far.
Okay. All right. So now we can go to presentation, right? And you can either show the progress bar if you want to. One of the things that I like to do, I was a first grade teacher for a long time, and I like to do like the little positive things, but you can change your confirmation message. You did an awesome job today. Thanks for filling out my quiz. You can make it say whatever you want. You just click edit, you put what you want in here, and then you click the save button, and it will save instead of just saying your response has been recorded. That sounds boring to me, maybe not to you, but I want to spice it up a little bit, so I can change that in here. I can do it on any quiz that I want to as well. So that's kind of a nice thing. You don't want a link to show that they're going to fill out it again, because we're going to have them do it one time, right? Okay. And our defaults down here at the bottom. That's okay. We are collecting email address by default, because I always have that on there. And I want to make sure that my questions are required. Why do I want to make sure my questions are required? Because then if I'm going through and I'm adding my questions and I have to click that required thing every single time on the bottom of a question, I might forget one, and it might be one that's really important that I ask them. And then the kids can skip over it, and then there goes my data again. So I like to make sure that they're all required by default. So I have that turned on, and then that way you don't have to worry about it. Okay. All right. Any questions about setting up the quiz? Now we're ready to add things to the quiz, questions to the quiz. So I'm going to jump back over here. I'm on the settings right now. I have the line under settings. I'm going to jump back over here to questions. Okay. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but it added this question here already for me, the email address. I didn't put that in there. It was an empty quiz, but it put it in there for me because I said I want to collect the email addresses. So it's already doing work for me. Yay. I love that. Okay. All right, we're going to go to the first question right here, the untitled question. And I'm going to ask for first name. Okay, so I'm going to type in here first name. All right. And you'll notice that it will change it automatically to short text, because Google is reading every question that we put on here. And so then it's making a determination, it's making a guess as to what kind of answer choices should it give you. So it gave me a short answer text because I'm asking for a first name. Okay. Now it is a required question. It automatically put required here, but I want you to look right over here where it says answer key and 10 points. Do I really want to give my kids 10 points for putting their name on it? I don't think so. So I'm going to go ahead and click in here in the answer key. And right here where it has the points, I'm just going to highlight that and put 0 and click done, because I don't want to give them points for their name. I want to give them points for answering the real questions. They better know their name by now. My goodness. Okay. So now I'm ready to add a second question. I asked for the first name. We're going to ask for the last name for the second question. So to get a second question, we're going to click on the plus sign over here. Okay. It's right in the little floating menu right there to the right. Right? We put in last name. Right? And again, it changed the type of answer choice for me. And again, I'm not going to let it sit at 10 points. So I'm going to click on answer key and I'm going to hit 0. Done. That way those questions won't count. Okay. All right. So I have first name, I have last name, I have the email address. I think I have all the information that I need for my students. I really don't want to add first name, last name, and ID. Is that a good idea, Larry, to do that?
We are not allowed to. And because it's going to go into Google, we could get into trouble for that. So never, ever ask for name and student ID number.
Now, I could ask for student ID number though, instead of name if I wanted to, if I was astute enough and I knew all my kids' IDs. But I know for me personally, it's easier for me just to put their name. And we don't, again, we don't want to do both because we can get into a little bit of trouble for that. Actually, probably a little bit more than just a little. So be careful with that, okay? Please be careful with that. All right, first name and last name. Now we're going to ask a real question. Any question that we want. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to click the plus sign again because anytime I click the plus sign, that's going to add a question for me, okay? All right. So my question is going to be, which shark is the meanest? Okay. And I can put in here mako, and I can put in here great white, and I can put in here whale shark and tiger. Okay, they're my four choices there. And this is going to be, and you'll notice that right away it went to multiple choice. Okay, this is a multiple choice question. So when you have a multiple choice question, we know that we only have one choice that is the correct answer, right? That's how multiple choice works. We choose one. Well, I'm going to show you another way where you can choose more than one as well. We're going to do that next. But so we now we need to give the answer key for this one here. Okay, so I have to know my answers. So I go to my answer key. And is it the great white? Is it the whale shark? Is it the tiger? Actually, the mako shark is the meanest shark. It's the most aggressive. So I put this one here. So it's check mark. It's going to be worth 10 points. If they don't choose mako, then they don't get the 10 points on the quiz. Because it's going to, Google's going to grade it for me too, which is awesome. And I click done. Okay. So, and again, it's showing me that green check mark right there. So I know that mako is the correct answer. If I need to go back and change that, I can just click on answer key and oops, I made a mistake. It's the great white. I can make that change, and it's very, very easy to do that. Okay. So here we go. We've got a multiple choice question with the correct answer. All right. Worth 10 points. I'm going to go ahead and add another question. So I'm going to be using the plus sign again. All right, and I'm just going to put question in here because I don't want to take up a whole lot of time typing. All right, and this time I'm going to use check marks. I'm going to put check all that apply. Right? Did you see what happened? Did you see how it changed? Did you see it on yours? How it changed? It changed right over to check boxes. All right, so if I have option 1 and then I have option 2, option 3, option 4. I can have as many options as I want. I've even gone up to 100 for options, and it still will take more. Okay, so don't think that you only have so many options that you can choose for your answer choices. You have lots and lots to choose from. All right. So I have these three. Now I'm going to say that for this question, my two answers, or maybe even my 3 answers could be any one of these. So if I go to answer key, I can choose all of them. I can choose 3 of them. I can choose 2 of them. And whichever ones that I choose, that is going to be the correct answer. Okay. And to me, those are really, really hard. Those check all that apply because they really have to think about them, right? But now I can have more than one option for them. And again, Google's going to grade it for me, just like this. And I'm going to go ahead and say 1 and 4. That's fine. I'm going to click done. Okay. Again, it's going to be worth 10 points. Is it down at the bottom here? And I was able to use 2 options. I could have used 3. I could have even used all 4 if I wanted to. But those 2 answers, whatever those 2 answers might be, those will be the only answers that will be valid. If they picked 1 and 2, they don't get partial credit, unlike they do on the STAAR test, but it's just marked as incorrect. Okay. But let's say on this one that I want to add some feedback to this question. Okay, because maybe if 1 and 4, if they did not get it correct, what I can send them to a website or somewhere else to help them to understand for the next time. So if I go back into the answer key, look right down here, add answer feedback. That's going to be on any question that you have. Okay, that'll be on any question that you have as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add some feedback. Okay, so I could add feedback for incorrect answers, and I can add feedback for correct answers, or one or the other. So I can do both, one or the other. I'm going to go ahead and add some for incorrect. I'm saying, you know, sorry, incorrect. Visit the website below for more help. Okay. And maybe if I could spell visit correctly, there we go. Okay. So now I can choose to add a link here and the link to go, and then I can have it display some text if I want to. So if I put a link in here, maybe to wisd.net, we'll just put that in there just for fun. Okay. And I say save, right? And you'll see that there's a link there. So if I get the question incorrect, it's going to say, sorry, incorrect. Visit the website below for more help. And then you visit the website, and then it will take you in there. Okay. I can add more feedback to that, because you'll notice there's this little pencil right here, which means anytime you see that in Google, that means you can edit. Okay. So if I click the edit button, need to zoom out a little bit. Maybe it's not going to let me do it this way. There we go. Okay. All right. So now I can add more links if I wanted to. If I wanted them to go to another website, I can also add videos in here to help them to learn the content a little bit better. Maybe they needed a little extra help. So this is a great way for a reteach. Okay. And especially for those really tricky ones where, you know, check all that apply, and they're like, oh man, it could be this one, it could be this one. They don't get to look at those options before they take the quiz, but after they take the quiz, they can, and that could be, you know, you can actually do like a requiz if you needed to, or, you know, and have a chat with that individual. Hey, you know, what happened here? Did you go and check out the website like I told you? Did you check out that video that I shared on the quiz? If you did, then you know, you should have understood why it wasn't 2 and 3. Why was it only 1 and 4? And you can have a nice conversation about that, class wise or individual wise. Okay. So does everybody know how to do that? Everybody kind of got that? That's for incorrect answers. But again, I can also add feedback for correct answers. So maybe I have like a video, it's like a little celebration video. And so if they get it correct, I can put on there, you know, awesome job, you know, you did a great job. And I can put a little video. I can also add links to other things that might help them off of correct feedback as well. So it doesn't just have to be, you know, hey, you didn't do so well this time around. It could be, you did an awesome job. And here's something, here's another task for you to do. We don't want to give them extra work, but we want to enhance what they've done. So it could be, you know, like as simple, like I said, as a little celebration video, a link to a, you know, a really cool little website, some, you know, whatever it is that you would like to add in here, you can add that feedback to correct answers as well. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of that. I'm going to actual size here. Here we go. All right. So this is 2 ways that we can ask questions that are similar to STAAR 2.0. Any questions so far? Have I gone too fast? Or have you all been able to follow along? I'm going to go back to the meet just really quick so I can see. Has everybody got a thumbs up? Yeah. Yeah. What do you think so far? Google Forms, pretty cool, huh? That we're able to do that. I know and aware that they've got the online testing component in Aware, but one of the things that they're finding out is that if they're asking for multiple answers, like the check all that apply, that it marks them incorrect sometimes. So that this is that's why I say go to Google Forms, because you can do it really easy in Google Forms and give them feedback. That reteach is right there, even though you're not right there. That sometimes we're not right there when they finish up their assessment, right? So to me, this is a great tool. We're going to go further with this, because there's a lot of other things that we can do with Google Forms and different types of questions that we can put into Google Forms that are going to get our kids ready. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and add another question type, and I'm just going to put in here question again, just for time's sake. Okay. And again, if I could spell today, there we go. All right, and it automatically, you know, defaults to that multiple choice because it's reading question. That's all it's reading. But I'm going to go ahead and click in here just so you can see all of the different types of question and answer choices that you can ask in Google Forms. Okay. So these are really, really cool down here. The checkbox grid and the multiple choice grid, okay? And I'm gonna click on the multiple choice grid first, okay? So I have got a row 1 and I have a column 1. So I can, if I'm looking at like a scale, a rating scale, something along the lines of that, I can put whatever I want in row 1, and I can add columns. I'm going to add 4 columns here. Okay. So row 1 and all of these columns here, and then one of these would be the correct answer. Maybe it's a scale, maybe not very interested, very interested, to very interested, different topics that you can put in here, all different types of things. So, but it looks so weird right now, Misha. I can't really determine what it's going to look like on the quiz. Do you want to know a little secret? You can actually view what this looks like as your students right here as you're editing. Right up here, it says preview. It's an eyeball. Okay, so if I click the eyeball, I'm going to get this. And I have my email, first name, last name, what kind of shark, and you can tell this is multiple choice because it's a circle. Here's my check boxes, and here is my multiple choice grid. Okay, where I have my column, and then I would choose one answer in there, and my answer key would be the correct answer. Does that make sense so far? Yeah. So you think about how you can use that one, right? But this one is even cooler because it's a checkbox grid, which would be the same type of grid, except now we're going to have the check boxes, so we can choose multiple answer choices, just like we did with the checkbox. Anything that has a checkbox, you can choose multiple. So again, and then I would go down here to the answer key. If I added a second row and a third row, and now notice that when I added these rows, it says require a response for each row. So this could be almost like, I don't know, this would work really well. I'm thinking more of like a survey of how do you feel about this, or how do you feel about that, or which character would do this. But you could actually. Oh, you're not. Oh, that's right, because I moved back. I apologize. There we go. I like to click a lot, and sometimes I forget that I've clicked away. So I added a row 2 and a row 3. If I want to see what that looks like again, I just click on the preview, and I will click on the right tab this time. There we go. And here we go. Here's my row 1, and I could add parameters to here. It says column, but I could put whatever it is I wanted in here, and then they would have to check off as many as I said were correct according to the quiz that I built. Okay. So, and then each one of these would be worth 10 points. So for this question right here, you can get 30 points for this question. I could go back and change that point value if I want to, but right now, as it stands right now, each one of these rows is worth 10 points. Okay. All right, I'm going to head back in here. All right, I got it this time, Larry. Sorry about that. I apologize. You see right down here, it says 30 points. So I can go to the answer key. I say, you know what, these 3 here, and these 2 here, and these 3 here. And then I would click done. And then now it's going to show me which ones are correct. So now it'll be able to grade that for me. Okay. Questions about adding the checkbox grid or the multiple choice grid? That one's kind of a tricky one, but they do have some of those that are in the on the TEA website, and that you might even be able to plug some of those numbers or some of those values into the Google Forms for a practice, right? Because we want to make sure that they understand how those work. Okay. All right. And again, if I wanted to add feedback, I don't think I can add feedback for the checkbox. That's one of the only ones for this particular one, because it's a grid, because it's I forget why they don't allow us to do that, but we're not able to. But I can also look here where it says require a response for each row. I don't have to do that. I can have it where it's just one response, and for all 3 rows that they give me. Okay, if I uncheck that, then it's only it'll still grade every one of them, but you will only require 1 for each row. But if I want them to do all 3 rows, where I want them to click inside of there, I want to make sure that that's turned on. Now, what does 3 dots in Google mean? What do they mean, Larry? If I see 3 dots?
There's some cool stuff there.
That's right. That means there's something awesome in there. So you always want to check the 3 dots, no matter where you are. You always want to check those 3 dots. So right here, okay? I can do limit 1 response per column, but look at this one is on every single question that I put in my quiz. Shuffle the row order or shuffle the answer response order. Why would I want to do that on a quiz that they're going to be taking online? We don't want them to go, hey, the answer to number 3 is B, right? We can change up the answer order, okay? So I can shuffle these up, right? And now it's going to shuffle up my rows and my columns. I can do the same thing up here for this one, right? Shuffle option order. So that way Mako Shark isn't always the first choice on everybody's quiz. And anybody, whoever takes my quiz, Mako may not be at the top. It could be in the middle. It could be at the bottom. It could be anywhere. So it's going to shuffle everybody's up so they all don't look the same. You can even shuffle the way the questions are laid out as well, like what number of questions that they are. That's getting a little more techy, but I love this feature right here, the shuffle the order, because it just makes it easy. That way, you know, Johnny says that the answer is B, you know, but Rebecca over here says the answer is C, but on mine it's A, you know, so that's a little confusing. I guess it's going to be a little bit harder for us to share out the answers. Okay, so that's, again, there was always something cool in the 3 dots. You would want to check them out because there is lots of cool stuff in there. Questions? No questions?
But they just like in this stuff.
Well, there's even more. But wait, there's more. So let's talk about what else is on the STAAR 2.0, the really scary STAAR 2.0. That's really not that scary. It's just going to make our kids think just a little bit more, and it's going to make us think a little bit more too. But what about adding images? We want to add images to our Google form, our Google quiz. How am I going to do that? There are 2 different ways that you can add images to your Google form. You have to think about how you want the image, where you want the image to be. Like if I've got 3 questions about a specific shark, first I'm going to want you to name the shark, and then I'm going to test you on some information about that shark. I might want to put a picture up just in my Google form, like right here, right underneath this question right here. So what am I going to do? Let me show you. Here's our floating menu right here. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. Do you see how it has the blue line right here? When you have the blue line, that means anything that you add is going to go right after that blue line. So if my blue line is way up here and I go to add a picture and I'm like, hey, where's my picture? It's not down at the bottom here. It's going to be underneath, right underneath wherever that blue line is. So that might be a guide for you to say, okay, if I'm going to put the next question in, I want to make sure that it's right after that blue line. So I'm going to go to add an image. Okay. And this should look a little familiar. Do you see my little pop-up window, Larry?
Yep, we'll get it.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Google search because I love Google search. And oh, Larry, I get to search for my most favorite thing in the world. Yay. And there's Bruce. He's right there. Yay. I'm going to click on him.
Why am I not surprised?
I know. It's just one of those things. And I'm going to click in search. And there he is. Now he's kind of over to the side. So I can move him in the center. You can see you can change, you can remove it if you want. But when you go to preview it, which I'm going to do now, you'll notice it's right here. It's in the middle. It's not attached to a question. It's just there. So think about this. If you've got a PDF that you're able to turn into an image, which is not difficult to do, especially if you're on a Mac machine. You can create images out of your PDFs, and you could have a whole, like a paragraph or 2 that you want the kids to read, and then you want to answer them questions. So you can put that in here. You can put any kind of image that you want in here, and you can get them from Google, or if you've got something that you actually have on your desktop, you can upload it. As you can see, one of the options was upload as well. So here's my question, right? Or here's my picture that I'm going to ask some questions about, right? So let me go back in here. Let me make sure I get on the right tab. All right, I'm on the right tab. All right, so that's one way that we can add a picture. Okay, another way we can add a picture is actually adding it to the answer choices. All right. So I'm gonna say that this next category is about charts. All right. And now I'm going to add a question, and here's my blue line, so I know that my next question will fall underneath my picture. Okay. And I'm going to say which one, and which one would be the largest, or whatever it may be. And I'm going to put great white, and I'm going to put mako again, and whale, which is not really a shark, but we say it is, and tiger. Okay. Now I have
a quick question.
Yes.
How did you center that image?
Sure, I'll show you one more time. Okay. So if I go back up here, and you see these three little dots, 3 dots, always something awesome in there. I can click on them. I can left align it. I can right align it. I can center it. Okay. And of course the trash can, we can dump it if we wanted to, if it's not something I want. Okay. So that's the easy way to get that picture in there. And you're going to notice the picture is nice and big too. This next part that we're doing, the pictures are going to be smaller because they're going to be part of the answer choices. Okay. So right here under great white, look right here. Add image. This is going to add the image to this answer choice of great white. So if I click on the little image, and I can do a Google search again, and I can look for great white. Okay. And look at all the pictures that are coming up of my favorite, the great white shark, and I can insert it. Okay. Now it's not going to look like how it looks for the students, and we'll take a look at what that looks like when we're finished here. So if I add another one, okay, Miko, okay, there he is. Insert him. Okay, whale shark. There he is. And I'm going to add him, insert, and tiger. Super easy to do. Okay. And take this one, insert. Okay, now I have my 4 answer choices on there. I could add my answer key, and I could say, okay, the biggest one, of course, is the great white. That's going to be my correct answer, worth 10 points. And I can add my feedback to each one of these answers with my links and my videos if I wanted to for each one, the correct and the incorrect, which is what I would do as a teacher. I know it's a little more work, but think about this. This form is digital, right? So that means I could use it next year. I could tweak it just a little bit for my students coming up for next year, but now I already have the basis for it. I already have, links to feedback. And of course you'll need to check some of those links, because sometimes those sites, they get shut down for whatever reason. So we do need to check on that, but you've already done all the hard work. So now it's just sitting in your Google Drive, and you can just pull it right back out, click the send link, and then give it to your new students in Google Classroom. Okay. So that's what's so great about having a digital form. You can use it from year to year. Plus the fact that Google grades it for you. Awesome. Okay, awesome. So you want to see what this looks like, right? And I know you're probably looking at yours, which is awesome. And I'm going to go to my preview. And look how beautiful it comes out. It makes them all nice and the same size. It does a lot of work for us. So then they get to choose which one. And these are really fun. I have seen this used with the student council. They had student council at one of the campuses I went to, and they had a form, and it had the students' pictures on it. And so then they could vote for which one. And because sometimes just a name, I'm not really sure who that was, but they actually had their pictures on there. And I thought that was a really great idea to do, to help kids remember who they were actually voting for. So I thought that was kind of fun. But there it is. It's so easy to insert an image into a Google form. But wait, there's even more. So we've talked about multiple choice questions. We've talked about checkbox questions. We've talked about the grids. We've talked about adding images to your form and to your answer choices. But some of the questions for STAAR 2.0 involve where they have to type in an answer. And I know spelling doesn't count, Misha, but is there a way that we could look for something like that we could actually, where they would have to type in their answer? Because they do need to practice that. And the answer is yes. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new question, plus sign. Okay. And I'm just going to type in here question again. And we're going to make this not a multiple choice, not a checkbox, but a short answer. The paragraph, you don't want Google grading that. It's going to be way too much work. Okay. But you can do a short answer. All right. Okay. And for your short answer text, add a correct answer. So let's say I'm asking which president was our 16th president of the United States? Just fun. And they say Lincoln, but they spell it like this. They spell it all lowercase. Okay. Now, normally we would say, oh my goodness, that's they have to have an uppercase letter. And sometimes they forget, because that they're kids, they forget, even when they're 18 years old, they forget. And from what I understand, Larry, on the STAAR, they're not grading for spelling. Am I correct about that?
Correct.
So if they're not grading for spelling, probably not going to be they're not going to be grading for punctuation either, for a fill in the blank type of an answer. So this would be considered a correct answer. But I want to add a correct answer. I want to add some options for them. So I might do one with a capital letter. Okay. I might want to do one where they really misspell it. Lincoln, right? I can put however many correct answers I want in here. And if any one of those are what the students fill in, then it will be counted correct. And anything that is not on this list here will be counted incorrect. So this is actually another easy way to get kids starting to type and stuff. But I know spelling and punctuation are a huge thing. I know it even hurts me to even say this, because as my grandfather was an English teacher, and boy, I knew every rule there was. But I also know that if this is the first time that they're typing or getting used to this format, we don't want to penalize them too much the first few times that they're doing this. So this might be an option for filling in those blanks on where there's a little spot for them to type in an answer. That way it's the idea of the answer. And then if you're thinking of every scenario, okay, they would probably make it spell it this way. They might spell it that way. If it's out of that range, well, it's going to be wrong, because if they put Washington, that wasn't the 16th president, right? So that one's going to be incorrect.
And we do have a question.
Yes.
If they write in a sentence, will it pick up the key word?
I don't know. I think it's picking up by character from what I believe. So just this, the LINCOLN would be an answer. This would be an answer. This would be anything else that's other than that. If they put that president would be Lincoln, it probably would not. It would have to be just the word. And that might just be something that the teacher would have to stress them. But again, this is good for their practice of typing and getting used to that. And then as over time goes, okay, make sure that you're hitting that shift button, everybody, because you want to make sure that first letter is a capital if it's a name of someone. So things like that as they move along. But I don't think if they put an entire sentence it would work, because it's going by the characters. It's looking at each character. That's why a paragraph would be a nightmare. I want you to just think about that, because then you're having to think of every sentence that a kid would write, and you don't want to do that. You can actually grade that manually and take off the points like we did for the first name and the last name, and then you can grade that on your own and add that to their quiz. Okay.
And that's actually what one of our Luzawayos making the comment, that you have to review those for the final scoring. So that is correct.
Yeah. Yes. And right here it says mark all other answers incorrect. So these are the three choices that I'm going to give them, are the ones that I will accept, and anything other than that will be marked incorrect. And then I would click done. And of course, then I can add my feedback, if it's an incorrect answer, oh, I'm so sorry, go to this website, presidentsoftheusa.org or whatever, and look at the number 16 president. You kind of missed that. or there's lots of videos out there that talk about all the different presidents that you could actually add in there as well. And that way, yeah, you're giving them that feedback. Because to me, feedback is one of the most important things. Again, if I'm giving a quiz on Friday and I don't give them their instant results on Friday, I've done a disservice to them, because Friday night happened where they might have had a gazillion things go on. They've watched movies or with their friends or eating pizza. Then they have Saturday and Sunday, and that's like an eternity, right? So by the time Monday rolls around, they don't even remember they had a quiz on Friday. And then you're like, hey, you know what? Here's your results of your quiz. And they're like, oh, that's right, we had a quiz. Oh, well. It doesn't mean anything to them. But if they're like, I wonder how I did. I wonder how I did. Right now, we're all that way. Principal walks into our classroom. What do? Okay, I hope I've got my objective up. I hope I'm doing everything correctly. Then they walk out, and you don't hear from them for a week. How does that make it? You know what? You're like, wait. I want to know how I did. I want to know how I did. The same thing is for our kids. They want to know how they did. And then giving them that feedback. Okay, I'm going to try harder next time. Or I did an awesome job today. It's Friday and I get to go home and tell my mom I did such an awesome job at school today. That it's so important. I'm sorry, I'm getting on my soapbox. I need to get off. Okay, sorry. We still have more to look at though. We still have more to look at. Is everybody good with how to set this up? Again, what I did was I went to the question type and I did the short answer, and then I went to the answer key, and when I put the answer key in here, then I put the choices that would be considered the correct answers, and then I made sure I click the box that says make all the rest of the answers incorrect. So as it's going through, it's going to be just searching for these 3 particular choices within the quiz itself. And this question is worth 10 points. I can change this at any time. I can make this worth 15 points if I wanted. Whatever number I want to put in here, I can, which is kind of nice too. I'm not just paired to, like, if it has to go by tens, this is going to be worth 20, this is going to be worth 30. I can put any number in here. This can be worth 18 points if I want to, whatever number I choose, 1 through 100. Okay. Any questions? We good? We good, Larry?
We're good.
Okay. So we added pictures. Can we add video? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So how do I do that? I'm going to go right here to add video. Okay. Now I can only add video like I added my great white picture. It's going to only be one picture for a group of questions. I can't put them in the individual answer choices. Okay. I can only put it for the main one. So I'm going to make sure here's my blue line, and I click on add video, and it's going to ask me the only type of video I can use are YouTube videos. If I'm not sure what I'm searching for, I can search for something. So I can search for sharks. And I'm going to get all these really cool, awesome video on sharks. And I'm going to stress this. I know we stress this all the time, Larry, but if it's a video you've watched 100 times, please watch it 101 times. Because when things get put up on YouTube, you've seen where there's like a lot of repeats on YouTube, right? Somebody puts up a video of the Berenstain Bears, and then you see it over here, you see it over here, and they're all put up by different people. We don't know who those people are, and we don't know how they've put that video together. And they could have put just 1/2 a millisecond of something that's inappropriate in that video, spliced it together, and you're thinking, oh no, it's the same time frame, we're good, and you don't watch the entire thing from beginning to end, and you put it in a Google form, or you assign it in Google Classroom. What could happen if somebody saw something that was inappropriate? Just think about that for just a second. And we stress this a lot just because we want to keep everybody safe. We want to keep you safe, especially. This is a great way to keep yourself safe, is by watching the video. Even though you've seen it 100 times, watch it that one more time just to make sure that this is a good one that you can assign to students. Okay. So,
and y'all remember a few years back, Momo? That's exactly what they did. They grabbed great videos, educational videos, and purposely added something to hurt our students. So keep that in mind.
Yes, absolutely. And so we're trying to just keep everybody safe, and we also want to keep our YouTube open. because there's a lot of really great stuff on there. There's a lot of not great stuff on YouTube as well. And that's why we have to be the filter. Sometimes it's not all the way filtered. And that's a Google thing. And we have to be the filter. I tell the story. I'm going to tell it now because I still have a few minutes left. We were doing a summer training years ago, because this was when we had some different people in our department. And we were at a campus, and we wanted to show how sometimes our filter doesn't catch everything. And there was a surfing competition that was going on, and so we found the video of the surfing competition, and we started to play it. And this one surfer had been attacked by a shark, of all things, and he went down under the water, and just as he did, one of the color announcers said something very inappropriate. And of course, we were with a bunch of adults, so we said, okay, get ready. And we played it, and they were also surprised that we were on a campus and that got through. And we're like, yes, stuff gets through with YouTube. We have to be careful with YouTube. So that's why it's another reason why it's important to watch that video from beginning to end, just to make sure that nothing inappropriate got through, okay? So we're just going to pretend that I have watched this entire video, and it happens to be in National Geographic. It's 5 minutes long. And notice that when I clicked it, a blue box is around it, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click select. And here's my video. Now, once again, I have the opportunity to center align it. I can right align it, I can left align it. I want it to be in the center. And now I can add some questions underneath this video about the video. You know, what kind of shark was it? What's going on? What is the shark eating? You know, whatever it is I wanted to ask about this particular video, I can put those questions down below. And I can check all that apply. That is a very hard concept. I could do any number of the questions that we've kind of gone over today. There is just a little bit of time left, and so I want to leave this open for questions, unless you want to see how you can change this really lovely purple color into something else. I can show you that too. What are we getting there, Larry? I feel blind. Let me go back.
I don't see anything yet. I'm waiting, but I kind of agree about getting rid of the purple.
Okay, I guess I could show that to you, because I never leave my Google Forms purple, ever. And purple's not a bad color, but I like something a little bit different. So in order to change the background of your Google form, okay, you're going to go up here to the customize, okay? It's the little palette, the little painting palette right here. Let me zoom in right here, customize the theme. So I'm going to click that. And this is new. This has been out for a couple of months now, but a lot of people don't know that it's here. So I can actually change the text type, and you'll see that it's got lots and lots of different text options in there. I can change the size of the text for my header and for my question and for the text that's within the questions, okay? So I have that ability as well now. So I can have a lot of fun with this Google form. But right here it says choose, I can change the heading. Right now it doesn't have a header, but if I wanted to put a picture, and of course I would choose a picture of a shark, of course. And I could put a picture of a shark up here, and I would go through that same process where I find a picture, and it kind of makes it just so it'll fit like right in the header for me. I can show that to you in just a second, but look right here, color. You'll see it's on purple. Yeah, no, we want green. And maybe I don't want the background to be this color green down here. You can see that's the background color. I can make the background gray if I want to. And now, wow, it really lightened up the form or the quiz, and it just makes it look a lot cleaner, right? So I can make it a little more eye appealing for my students. But if I really wanted to get them all excited, I could choose the image. Now they do have all kinds of themes that are already in here. And you can also upload if you've got some pictures on your desktop that you'd like to upload. And it will also go to your photos that you have. I have all kinds of photos in here of my kids and everybody else that I could actually put in there as well. So you actually have to have your photo in your Google Photos, or you have to upload it from your device. But here's a trick. I have a template, I use that what you put any image you want in there, and then you download it. It's a template that you have up in your Google Drive, and then you download it, and then there's your picture, and then it's perfect size. So when you put it up into the header, it's a perfect size, and the picture looks amazing, and it doesn't look all funky, because sometimes if you have a really big picture or not a really good quality picture, it's going to look not great inside of your Google form. But if you use my template, and if you email me, mdaniel@ysc.net, I'll send you a copy of one. I'll send you a link over, so that way you can make a copy for yourself, and then you can play around with that. So because that's just it's easy way to make it look like you spent a whole lot of time on your Google form and you really didn't. And the kids get excited about it, because oh wow, look at that, there's a great white shark on there, oh wow, that's so cool, so that way they enjoy it a little bit more, even though they're taking a quiz.
Now, would you have a question?
Yes.
What do you have a rule of thumb for the length of the video that you were recommending putting into it?
Do I have a rule of thumb on the video length? I would say you don't want anything over 5 minutes, especially if I think about our 45-minute class periods for our upper grades. Now, I know for our lower grades, we have a little bit longer of time to do that, but if it's a quiz, it's an assessment of some time, we don't want the kids watching a video that's going to be 30 minutes long. For one thing, if I'm going to ask them questions about that video, what happened 20 minutes ago, they may not remember. And I want to make sure that it's like stuck in their head. So I would say not over 5 minutes, but you know what? You are the expert for your classroom. If you think a 10-minute video, you think a 20-minute, if you think a 30-minute video would work for your students, I have no say in how I just, for me personally, I wouldn't have it over 5 minutes, but that's me. So, but you would choose what you would want to have as a length of time for your videos. Other questions? I heard something.
Veronica Veriel raised her hand.
Yes.
Yes, I have a question. If you have a question that has several answers, so let's say that the question is 10 points.
Mhm.
If you're asking them to check answer two, would it divide it by the number of answers, or it has to be all
It has
of
to
it,
be
or-
all or nothing. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
That is one
Okay.
caveat with that. But if you remember, when I did this one down here, when I
Mhm,
did the with the rows, so if I had
Mhm.
just like one column, right,
mhm.
and I had one column for each row, or I could actually add a different one for each row, and then that way, that might be one way that you could do it. Where
Okay.
it would give points for each one. And again, you
Okay.
just would have you would have to go in here and check the points.
Oh,
See,
I see.
I could check the points here. I can
Okay.
see which ones are going to be worth how many points. So I could
Okay.
do that, but that's requiring a little more thought and for me, I would just start them off with just okay. Check all that apply. And if they miss one, okay, let's have that feedback piece in there. And then let's talk about it. Why? Let's have a discussion. Why wasn't it the second option? Why was it only the third and fourth option? Why do you think? Justify your answer. Tell me why you think. And then, that they're starting to understand that process of, oh, okay, I get it. Why it wasn't this one, it was this one. And, because that's something that they're going to have to know. And I know those are scary questions for teachers too. Let me tell you, when we put them on quizzes, it's like, oh man, I'll check all that apply. It could be any of them. But yeah, there's a reason it's on there like that to make you think.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We're just about out of time.
I just see a lot of thank yous so far.
Oh, well, good. We appreciate you being here for our first mini Monday. We had quite a good turnout today. I'm really, really happy. And if you need any assistance with Google Forms, you want to take this further, you really want to dig deep into it, let me know. I can help you out with that as well. Google Forms and we go way back. So we want to thank you all for being here and learning a little bit more about that STAAR 2.0. And next week, hey Larry, what's on next week? I think you're doing Nearpod next week, aren't you?
Absolutely. So a lot of the question, what we're doing with taking it to a 3.0, we're going to do it with Nearpod. So please join me next week.
Yeah, it's going to be different types of questions using Nearpod. How exciting is that? And again, it will grade it for you. It'll be to help you
And
out.
there's been some updates and changes in Nearpod that you need to see.
Yes. It always is getting better all the time. Just like Google gets better all the time, so does Nearpod.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you all for being here on a Monday. I know Mondays are a tough day after a long weekend, but we really appreciate you being here. And anything that we can help you with, just shoot us an email and we'll get back to you pretty quickly.
Thank you, guys.
All right, bye guys.
Bye-bye.
Y'all take care.
You too.